Ready? Good evening. I'd like to officially welcome you to the 21st Annual Solano Community College Hall of Fame Induction Ceremony. So great to see such a big crowd tonight. We see, of course, our 8 inductees who are going into the Hall of Fame tonight, and nice to see lots of Hall of Famers here to celebrate these new kids going in tonight. Should be an exciting evening. And before we get to the ceremony, you're going to hear from each of the inductees. 2 quick announcements. For each of the inductees, as soon as you're finished with your inductee speech, we'd like to usher you right around the corner into our studio to get a picture of you with a couple members of the Board of Trustees and our Superintendent President, Dr. Cecilia Esposito-Noy. And after the ceremony tonight, we'd like to get all of the inductees into the room so we can get a picture of all of you together. Tonight, we have 8 very special individuals being inducted into the Hall of Fame tonight, and quite a wide array of individuals. We've got a public address announcer, softball coach, member of the Boosters. We've got 2 members of the baseball team, former members of the baseball team, 2 former members of the women's basketball team, and a member of the men's basketball team, all getting into the Hall of Fame tonight. Congratulations to all of you. You know, it's just so impressive being inducted into the Hall of Fame. I did a little research before tonight, and I took a little survey of all of the Hall of Fames in the United States. Less than 2% of the total population in the United States ever make it into a Hall of Fame. So, you should feel pretty special about your accomplishment tonight, and on the community college level at that. Well, tonight we're going to hear from each of the inductees, and I think it's only fitting that we begin with the longtime public address announcer, John Canova, getting into the Hall of Fame tonight. Congratulations. You know, John started his career in 1987, 30 years ago when he started calling Solano football games. Then in the 1990s, started doing men's basketball, and then soon after that, he was doing women's basketball as well. And I'll tell you, one of the most exciting things, if you ever get to the Solano gym on a Friday night in the early spring, and you're watching a basketball game, and it could be the men or the women, and one of the Falcons knocks down a 3, you hear the roar of the crowd, and just above the roar, you can hear that silky, smooth voice of John Canova calling out the name of the person who made the shot, and then you hear a 3! And everybody up on their feet. It's tremendous. And the thing that John has done so well for Solano Community College sports is he just adds that energy and that excitement to every Solano athletic contest when he's the PA announcer. It would be kind of like, if we took away John, it would be like watching a movie without a soundtrack. John just adds so much energy and excitement, and to tell you more about his great accomplishments, I'd like to introduce his son-in-law, Pat Clancy, to come on up and tell us a little bit more about John.
All right. Kind of hard to introduce somebody that is so gifted at speaking as John, but so I met John in 2005. I started dating his daughter, who's now my wife at 10 years. We hit it off pretty well right at the beginning. We had many things in common. Amy, his daughter, for one, and then sports, and we were both military men. So John, the Air Force, and I was in the Navy. So over the years, we came fairly close. John always talking about his the basketball games and going out to see the basketball games, and it was neat to be out there and really to see John in action and to hear it in live person. So John, at one point, he bought a kit, a career kit, and it had all these records that you would play in a book that was 4 inches thick on how to become an announcer as a career. John didn't quite make it a career, but he certainly did make it a passion and a love throughout his life, obviously here for 30 years. He also, at one point, tried out for the PA announcer for the San Francisco Giants. Put an audition tape in and sent it in, and he didn't quite make the cut there, but I think you reap the benefits of his skills. John has a very professionalism and passion for really every part of the announcing part. So he talked about earlier his energy and trying to keep that energy up and making sure he had the energy throughout the whole game. He also wanted to make sure that he knew everybody's name, and he wanted to make sure that he pronounced it properly and correctly, to the point where he would go and talk to people and find out, how do you pronounce your name? Because he wanted to make sure that he got it correct. He felt that as part as a professional of announcing, as well as to the honor of the athlete, to make sure that he did that correctly. And in John telling stories, his recollection of people's names throughout the years, from, back in 20 years ago, I'd announced the game and there was a person and their name was this and that, and he's really embedded all that into his memory banks. He loves it so much that it's such a passion. And to do something for 30 years really tells you how much he's loved it and how he had a gift for it, but without really loving it, you can't do that for 30 years. It wasn't work, it wasn't anything but something he just loved to do. So I know he's very honored here tonight to have you all, to have him for 30 years and to bring him up and to feel so special as to think about him, because for him it was just a love. It wasn't work, it wasn't anything else. He just loved doing it, and he feels honored to have you have him here for 30 years. So, so really, without further ado, I'd like to introduce John Canova.
All right, John.
I'm not used to using a microphone. I don't know how that works. I have the world's greatest son-in-law, by the way. And, when Eric told me that I'd been nominated for the Hall of Fame, I said, I've never scored a touchdown, I've never made a basket, what's going on? And then he told me about the announcing thing, and I said, I was taken aback, it's really nice. But just a couple of quick things. It's only 25 pages long, but it's. I usually start by saying it all started in 1949, which scares people to death. But when I was a freshman at Armio, there was no Fairfield, Bandon, or Rodriguez. That was 63. And needless to say, we were quite crowded. And halfway through the freshman year, Bandon opened, and then in 68, Fairfield opened. And but one of the guys who was in our class said his sister was dating Elvis Presley. Right. Sure, sure she was. Well, then he ended up, he was one of the Bandon guys. He, went out with Bandon. Well, turned out he was Priscilla Presley's brother. So everybody wanted to be his friend after that. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Nicest kid. And so that's my closest thing to fame. And let's see. My father took me to the World Series in '62, and I was quite young. And for those who are really young, I know that sounds terrible, but I was really in awe. And a number of future Hall of Famers was like Mays, Cepeda, McCovey, Marichal, Mantle, Maris, Berra, and a bunch of other ones to watch that World Series. Well, we lost in the 7th game. And we all walked out and said, next year, we're going to get him next year. Well, next year was 2010, of course, so that took a while. But during that 62 season, I was listening to Russ Hodges and Lon Simmons, who did the radio announcing, and I was just taken in by it. And I just listened. And but life sometimes gets in the way of that, so my parents owned a company, and I ended up doing that. And as, let's see, in the 70s, I started working for KUIC Radio, and I did football and basketball games. And talk about high tech, I had a cassette player. It was on my lap, and I would do the play-by-play, and then at the end of the thing, I'd run it to the radio station, and over the weekend, they would play it. And it was funny, too, because when it was time for a timeout, I'd say, "We'll be back after these messages." I was quiet for a few seconds, then I hit the end button. I had to make sure I did it, just right. So, let's see. And then, as my son-in-law mentioned, trying to get the opposing names right can be interesting sometimes, but there's one that stands out. We were playing Merritt College, it was a women's game, and they would bring one or two women from Lithuania over. I don't know if you remember the name Šarūnas Maršalonis, and his wife, Inga, was the player and then the coach for Merritt. So this one woman, I saw this name and I said, "Oh God, please." And I asked her, "How do you pronounce that?" And she said, "You pronounce it Jūratė Žukauskytė." It didn't look like that. And so I wrote it phonetically, and I said, "Is she any good?" "Yes, best player on the team." So of course, every time she made a basket, I had to say her name. And so at the end of the game, I walked up to her and I said, "Did I do okay with your name?" And she went, "Very close," like that. I said, that was about all I needed. Let's see. Yeah, we're down to the last 20 pages. Not much here. Let's see, I told you that. And a person who I absolutely loved was the late Carl Everett. He taught me so much about sports. And technical things with football and basketball, and when we were in the booth, a referee would do something, and I'd say, "What was that?" And he'd tell me what it was, and I sounded really intelligent. So I love Carl. I also want to do a shout out to Bobby Ocampo, Allison Albert, Sam McKinney, my hero, and Jesse Branch. They have been friends, very helpful, and all that. So with that said, thank you very much. I'm just humbled by this, and I've enjoyed my 30 years, and I'm told that I get to do a little bit more. So again, thank you so much.
If you've ever had a chance to take a look at the Solano Baseball Media Guide, and then you go through the section and it's got all the career record holders for Solano baseball, one name in particular stands out, and that's our next inductee, Vic Ferrante.
Yeah.
And, oh, we're not ready, I'm not done. And one thing that stands out, if you're like me, I always go to the big stat areas. Home runs, RBIs. Vic Ferrante holds the Solano career records in both. 20 career home runs, 110 career runs batted in. But the statistic that stood out to me wasn't those two. Intentional walks. Now, I've been broadcasting Solano baseball games for almost a decade, and I can't count on one hand the number of times that I've seen a kid intentionally walked in community college baseball. Vic Ferrante holds the record at Solano Community College. He was intentionally walked 20 times during his career at Solano Community College. To me, that says more about how dangerous he was as a hitter than any of the other statistics. Just an outstanding ball player. He really helped Coach Stover. Coach Stover had just taken over in 2003. And boy, Solano was terrible. I think they had 4 wins maybe in 2003. Vic, I know the 2004 season wasn't the best, but 2006, you led the Solano Falcons to their first playoff opportunity under Coach Stover. So really good job, really brought Solano to the forefront in baseball. And then they went on to win 5 Bay Valley Conference championships. To tell us a little bit more about Vic Ferrante, I'd like to introduce. Who's bringing it up, Vic? I'm just kidding. I'll tell you who's bringing him up. Who's bringing him up?
Coach Schlampa.
That is right. I'm just kidding. Sit down, Tyron. I'm done with you. I'm not done with you. Wow. Just having some fun with Tyron. Hey, Tyron, as Eric said, new head baseball coach of Solano Community College, taking over for Coach Stover. Coach Stover on a 2-year hiatus. And I can tell you this, Tyron's going to do an outstanding job. He's an excellent coach, former pitching coach, and did a tremendous job working those new pitchers. He's also an outstanding communicator. Come on up and show us. Tyron Solano.
My earliest memory of Vic as a baseball player was my first year as a coach. It was Vic's sophomore year here at Solano. And I was still a wet behind the ears new guy. I was fresh off my playing career and I wanted to do a great job. It was one of our first games of the year, and after we finished taking our infield and outfield before the game, I was hitting fly balls to the outfielders. And I hit a ball out there to the outfielders, and the guy who was up was drifting back towards the group of guys standing there. And the best player on our team was in the middle probably of telling a story to somebody or telling him how to do something, you know, giving him his 2 cents. And the ball just kept traveling, and it hit Vic in the head right before one of the first games of the year, and this guy's the best player on our team. And I was like, what am I going to do? He's going to be hurt. I hope he can play. What are we going to do? And fortunately, for the sake of our 2006 team and my career, as the people at that table can probably tell you, Vic's a little hard-headed, and we were all okay in the end. He was fine. He played, and it was good. Vic was drafted 3 times. He was drafted first out of high school at Benicia High School by the Astros in the 38th round, and then again after his freshman year here by the Astros, and finally after his sophomore year, he was a 15th round draft pick of the Colorado Rockies. So, as Scott Stover, the head coach here while Vic was here, is quick to say, Vic Ferrante was the one recruit who really changed the course of Solano College baseball. Vic was the blue chip athlete that all the large schools recruited, who was the first guy that said, I'm going to stay home and go to Solano and start a new tradition of winning. Vic was that guy that changed a couple decades of struggles and started something great here at Solano. Vic's the single season record holder for walks with 32, intentional walks with 15, and those were both in 2006, and that's in only 44 games. As we discussed previously, he's the career home run leader, RBI leader, walks and intentional walks leader. Those stats are valid because Vic Ferrante was the only baseball player that I've been around who commanded a field in the same way another Bay Area baseball player of that era did. Like Barry Bonds, Vic Ferrante was the only baseball player I've ever been on the field with that when he came to the plate, the entire stadium, both teams and all the fans, stopped to see what would happen because there was a good chance he was going to hit a ball a really, really long way. It was palpable, the command that he drew to himself when he stepped in the batter's box, and that was a special thing for me to see and one that I have not forgotten. Interestingly enough, Vic also dominated on the mound for us. He was an absolute impact on both sides of the ball, so much so that he was able to play both as a hitter and a pitcher in a professional career. So we talk about Vic being the type of recruit that changed the course of Solano College baseball. Just to illustrate that fact, from the time that Vic started here at Solano College and our 2006 run in his sophomore year when we made the playoffs for the first time, we went on to what we consider our decade of dominance. From 2006 to 2015, we were the Bay Valley Conference champions 6 times, including 5 straight championships from 2007 through 2011. We made the playoffs 8 times, including 6 straight appearances from 2006 through 2011. That included 249 wins and a 187-65 record in the Bay Valley Conference. So to Vic, I say congratulations tonight, and thank you for what you did here.
Didn't really expect that. I almost kind of forgot about it the last 11 years. But, well, first of all, thank you, Coach Salampa. I appreciate the introduction. Hopefully I can live up to it for the next 2 minutes. But I'm going to thank, first of all, Coach Salampa, of course, and then my family for being here, my beautiful wife. Thank you very much. Love you guys. Let's see. Thank you, Allison. Where are you at? Yeah, you healed my boo-boos, so, had to, every now and then got a little banged up, and you were there to help me. Thank you, Solano College alumni, athletic department, for putting this on. This is beautiful. I didn't know the cafeteria could look so nice. You can laugh, it's okay. Next, I want to say thank you to Coach Stover, who unfortunately is not here tonight, but the individual awards are great, and I definitely am proud of what I accomplished individually, but over time it's became more clear to me that those were just individual awards and accomplishments, and really the most important thing looking back is what we did as a team. We changed the program. Stover being as committed as he was to recruiting and turning the program around, the vision that he had for the future of Solano baseball, we shared that. And he definitely convinced me to come to Solano College after many Applebee's dinners, right? Right, Dad? Applebee's, yep, okay. So anyways, but I just wanted to say that, thank you to everyone. I appreciate the honors, and I'm grateful for all that we together have accomplished, the Solano program, the coaches, and me. And yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, our next inductee, softball coach here at Solano from 96 to 2000, Janae Lambden, going into the Hall of Fame tonight. And while Janae's tenure here at Solano may not have been that long, certainly very significant. In fact, one of the teams that Janae coached, the 1996 team, will be recognized next year at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. One thing we like to do is to recognize a special team from the past. It'll be the 96 softball team that Janae Lambden had the privilege to coach. She was the coach of the year in 96 and also in 1998. And during that tenure, while Janae was here, just a tremendous impact on the program, especially developing some of the best talent that we've had in softball during the tenure of Solano Community College softball. And to tell us a little bit more about Janae and her tremendous accomplishments, I'd like to introduce a current Hall of Famer. Class of 2015, just an outstanding athletic trainer. As you heard Vic Ferrante mention her, she has just been elected, as Eric said, to the 32-member council on sports medicine. Only 32 people in the nation selected to be on that council. One of them, let's give it up for Allison Aubert.
Hello. A little shorter than he is. Hi, we're here to talk about Janae Lambden, who was one of the biggest impacts in Solano history in a short amount of time. So Janae attended UOP for a softball scholarship in 1980. And then she became an assistant at both San Joaquin Delta College and then Palomar College, where she actually went to the state championship in 1989. After Palomar, she became a head coach at Mount Sac for 5 years prior to joining Solano College in 1995. While at Solano, from 95 to 98, Janae's teams were highly ranked in Northern California, which was incredible since our team had struggled for so long. Janae had several unique qualities, and her athletes absolutely loved her. Her enthusiasm. She's a fireball. We used to call her the fireball behind her back, but I'm telling you now. She had non-stop energy, and it was contagious, especially coaching third base. My favorite thing was to sit behind home plate and watch her antics at third base. It was hilarious. Her passion. Janae had a strong passion for the game of softball, her athletes, her family, her coworkers, and life in general. Her communication. Janae would listen, she would communicate clearly, respect her players' opinions. Janae was always positive and encouraging to all of her athletes. And this is why her players loved her and played so hard for her. Many people ask me, I've been here 25 years and I work with a lot of coaches. They ask, well, why do certain teams do better than others? And I would say Janae is a perfect example of kids playing their hearts out for somebody they truly respect, truly love, and they truly just go all out for them. She was an absolute pleasure to work with, and her impact at Solano College softball and kinesiology department was remarkable. Some coaches are successful because they have great players, and others succeed because they motivate good players into being great, and that was her impressive skill. Moving on, she went to Oregon State after Solano. We were very sad to see her go. She took a D1 first assistant's job and realized that she really loved community college. She left Oregon, took a head coaching job down at Moore Park College. They were conference champs 1 year after her getting there, and they earned playoff spots each year. In 2005, she stepped down as a softball golf coach to move back to Northern California to be closer to her family. Currently, Janae teaches kinesiology at Delta College in Stockton, is enjoying life full with family, friends, and her 2 dogs, Jessie and Eliza. Janae Lambden, the fireball, come on up.
I got to get my bearings here a little bit. You know what? Committee, thank you very much. Eric, I'm totally humbled and honored to be here. I really am. Alice and Jesse. I didn't even see Sam. I didn't know Sam was here. And the rest of the committee. Hi, Sam. Oh my gosh, you guys don't age here. You totally don't. That's awesome. They were the ones that I remember when I was here, and they stuck with me through thick and thin, the highs, the lows. Yeah, my first year here, this is not on my notes. My first year here, I got hired in January, needed to field a team the end of January. Yeah, that doesn't work with success. And it was like I'd walk on campus and I would have a softball, and anybody that was a girl, I say, do you know what this is? And they're like, I'm like, cool, can you show up at this time, at this hour, on these days? Right on. And that's really, I kid you not, that was our first team. And then I had the opportunity to coach a travel ball team over the summer. And that's where I actually met the girls that actually recruited for my very first real team, the 96 team. There's no mistake about it. There was one young lady who was trying to transfer over here. And I said, don't come alone. Just don't come alone, because there's nobody here. We had 3 wins, and they were because of forfeits. It's like, hey, we'll take them any way we get them. Anyway, but the second year, you're right, in 96, it was an amazing year. because of the work and the effort that the young ladies brought. I had retired from playing myself, so I did have a lot of energy. I was pretty, intense. Just say that. Anyway, so I'm really honored to be here to kind of get back to actually my notes. And they're not 28, mine are 2. And I do want to acknowledge my family. My mom and dad are here. I love you. I have 3 of my 5 siblings here, and I have my newly acquired son here. Yeah, you're awesome. And then I have some special friends that are here. Actually, Holly and her family and her parents, Maud and Dominic, they were the catalyst, seriously the catalyst to the success of 96. The parents and Holly. And that's no exaggeration, really. I had some tremendous parents. We had a team, correct me if I'm wrong, Holly, did we have 11 or 10? It was 11, and she was a part-time athlete. She played while we were home. She never traveled with us at all because she was smart and was in all the labs. Anyway, so we had a unique group of ladies, and as Allison pointed out, they bled on my field. They literally bled on my field. So anyway, all right. So to be clear, my time was short here, but it wasn't because I was unsatisfied. It was rather just an indictment against my immaturity. I mean, it's true, it's real. Every coach has aspirations to go on to the, Division I and play at the best. And I mean, it was Pac-10, and that was the best softball at the time. And so I wanted to figure out if that was my niche, and I soon learned that it was not. I have certain giftings that I bring, and I'm a teacher. I'm an encourager. I'm a supporter, and I'm gonna watch you grow. And that just wasn't what it was at Division I. So I missed the community college atmosphere, and I really missed the student athletes that the community college serves. They actually are young people that need support and want support. And that's just kind of what I do. So while I was here, I missed the opportunities to help an unpolished diamond like Holly Smith shine so that she could take her scholarship to ASU, or build confidence in a young woman who didn't even start on her high school team, and she ended up taking a scholarship at a Division I team in the Midwest. I don't remember the team right now. Or to help create opportunity, just another open door for like Raja Woods, who accepted a 2-year scholarship to ASU as well. These are the things that I missed doing when I stepped out and went to Division I. To this day, I still have the privilege of staying connected with a lot of the athletes from almost every team that I've ever coached. And I look at that as very humbling. It's still in my heart. I still love to hear someone yell out, "Coach!" And I'm like, "Hi." It rings with the fact that I left an impact, and I had influence, and I meant something to that person, or else they would not have acknowledged me. So, that just brings so much joy to my heart. Coaching here at Solano was very special to me. It was a time of great success, blessing, and truly some introspection and growth. It served as a foundation time, which put me on the path to where I am today. So while here at Solano, I worked with some amazing people, and I've acknowledged them already, but coworkers like Allison and Jesse, who put up with everything. And she talked about my antics on third base. I was so intense, and she would have to keep me down. Just, that kind of stuff. She was amazing. I had great faculty that supported our student athletes. We had a great administration that supported us. We had an amazing community that stepped up and supported us. And I would be amiss if I wouldn't say that I had some amazing student athletes that gave everything they had for the good of the cause. So it was awesome. And I believe that we made our community proud of us while we were leaving our mark on the community college softball world. Each coach coaches for different reasons. My reasons, and if I were coaching today, they would still be the same. That they were never about me thinking that I was all that. They weren't about the accolades. They weren't about any conference titles or All-State or All-American athletes or Coach of the Year awards, or even the number of times that we've been at the state championship. It wasn't about that. It was only about the platform of softball to teach the lessons of life, character, humility, integrity, purpose, and belief. And to this end, I truly believe that's my greatest accomplishment as a coach. I worked hard to instill within my players the ideal that they were able to accomplish whatever dream they were willing to dream. But it was going to cost them something. It was going to cost them personal sacrifice, discipline. They had to learn what selflessness was. It's like, what's that? Teamwork. They had to give up time. We spent a lot of time together. And each young lady had a different story. And my job as a coach was to take each of those stories and weave it together so that they had their own new chapter for their life. We were successful because each girl stepped into that role. They allowed me to challenge them, to encourage them, to support their passions and purpose, to grow them and to stretch them. And they allowed me to teach them how to work together. That's really hard. It's hard to do. You have different kids from all different areas. And they just said yes. So we were successful through this game because individuals became family. They united as a team and they aspired to do great things. And they aspired to do them together. So the last thing is my heart is full with memories, with friendships, with gratitude and thankfulness. I was given the opportunity here at Solano College to have one of the greatest jobs in life. I was able to lead young people in discovering their purpose, their giftings, to support their efforts, to offer wisdom, to love them regardless, and to honor them. And this is what coaching is all about to me. So thank you, Solano College, for the privilege of that and for this specific honor. And the only thing I can do is, my heart is to bless you, so I'm going to bless you. So, Solano College, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you, and may he be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. God bless you. Thank you very much.
Quick announcement before we get to our next inductee. We are taping tonight's show. We'll have it available tomorrow by 6 o'clock p.m. If you'd like to watch the induction ceremony, you can go online. You can go to our Facebook page, Solano College Sports Network. Solano College Sports Network. This will be up by Monday. We'll have it up on our college YouTube channel. And starting on this Wednesday, both at 10 o'clock a.m. and 10 o'clock p.m. If you happen to live in Fairfield and you get Fairfield's cable access channel 28, we'll be showing it on channel 28. We'll probably show it for the next couple weeks on Wednesday, every day from that time, 10 o'clock a.m., 10 o'clock p.m. on the Solano College Sports Network. All right. Our next inductee, longtime Solano administrator, longtime member of the Boosters, Shirley Lewis, going into the Hall of Fame tonight. And Shirley has just had such a long and tremendous impact, not only on athletics, but on the school as a whole. Just tremendous impact. And the thing that I think Shirley has done so well, she's really had an impact being a member of the Boosters, especially in raising funds for Solano Community College athletics. And to tell you more about that, we're going to get another Hall of Famer up here, class of 1998. Let's hear it from my good buddy, Jesse Branch.
I was informed, instructed, or directed that I only have 3 minutes to do my introduction. My response to that was no way. What I have to say about Shirley Lewis cannot be said in 3 minutes. I look back over the countless hours of planning and preparing for fundraising and other events. Most of the time was after hours and on her own time. That was in addition to her official duties. It is true, the success of a great organization, there is always somebody behind the scenes that make things happen. I will, of course, try to be obedient and stick to the 3 B's of public speaking. 1, be accurate. 2, be brief. And 3, be seated. I'm honored tonight to have the privilege to introduce Dr. Shirley Lewis into the 2017 Solano College Athletic Hall of Fame. She is currently the president of Solano College Boosters, and she's also the dean of the Vallejo Center. In addition to that, she is a personal friend, a longtime friend, and I want to say 20-plus years, but we won't go into that. Shirley started her long involvement in 1997. It was shortly after she was hired by the college. With a little arm twisting, and a little persuasion from myself and Hank Lodell, who's not here tonight, we persuaded her to get actively involved, and that she did. She have a great understanding of the mission, the goals, and the vision of this organization. Besides all of her qualities and all the other good things, Shirley is the most humble, caring, and understanding person that I know, and I know a lot of people. She is just a fantastic person, either way you look at it. So to try to stay within my 3 minutes, I'm being timed, if you would take a moment to read her bio, which is in the program, will tell you what she have really accomplished. It would tell you about her commitment, her dedication, and contribution to the athletes, Solano College as a whole, and certainly to the Solano College Athletic Boosters. I could go on, but without any further ado, would you please join me in welcoming Dr. Shirley Lewis into the 2017 Solano College Hall of Fame.
Wow, I'm very much overwhelmed by your remarks, Jesse. I've been really fortunate to have had a very satisfying career in education, 20 years of which have been here at Solano Community College. And of course, one of the highlights has been my involvement and participation with the athletic department and the Solano College Booster Club. Thank you so much, Sergeant Major Jesse Branch, for your kind remarks, and I will continue to strive to live up to those words. You've been a mentor, an inspiration, and a very good friend over the years. I want to thank a number of people, and of course I won't be able to include everybody, but I want to give thanks and appreciation to the hard work and the dedication of my colleagues, past and present. Those include Darla Williams, Allison, Terry, John, Matt, Scott, Jeff, Curtis, Kevin, Scott Parrish, Bob Myers, Betty Austin, Floyd, Jimmy, Sam, Mac. I'm sure I've forgotten somebody, but I want to thank everybody that's been connected with the athletic department. My appreciation, my deep appreciation goes to Athletic Director Eric Visser and my fellow Booster Club members, especially special thanks to Sandra, Thomas, Claire, Allison, Jesse, Matt, John, Darla, Josh, and Ravi. I also want to extend my thanks, express the pride that I feel very much when I think about our student athletes, the hard work, just have motivated me over the years in terms of the work that we've done as boosters to support their success. Lastly, I want to thank my daughter and my family, and I want to thank all of you for this great honor. Thank you so much.
The catcher position has long been a staple of success for the Solano baseball team. And if you look at that position over the years, we've had a lot of great catchers here at Solano Community College. Vic Romero comes to mind, Kyle Bible, Aaron Brasher. Coach Solano is going to tell you he's got a pretty good catcher right now in Jared Denning. Yeah. But probably the best catcher to ever play for the blue and white Solano Falcons is our next inductee, Ryan Lipkin. Ryan Lipkin was a tremendous catcher. He was the 2007 Bay Valley Conference Most Valuable Player, and he was a significant part of that team in terms of leading the Falcons to their first Bay Valley Conference championship under head coach Scott Stover. 4 came after that, 5 total. And then Ryan went on, played at USF, also played for the United States Collegiate National Team, and then went on to play in professional baseball for the Oakland Athletics, made it all the way to AAA. Pretty great accomplishment. And to tell you more about those great accomplishments, I'd like to introduce the baseball coach from the University of San Francisco, Nino Geritano.
Jesse, I need to come clean before I start. I know they gave you 3 minutes. They told me that I could have 5, so I got to come clean. I get 5 minutes. I'll take less. Really would like to thank Eric Visser, first of all, before we start. What a wonderful evening. Thanks for inviting me into your community and making me part of this. I had an opportunity to work with Eric for 15 years at USF and see his greatness as a coach and as an administrator. And Eric, you're truly a superstar. Thank you. You know, Ryan called me about a month ago and asked me to present him into the Hall of Fame. And it's always a great conversation when me and Ryan have a chance to talk nowadays because we're so busy. But Ryan said to me, you know, Coach, would you come and introduce me? into the Hall of Fame at Solano, and I was floored. I was happy. I was humbled. And I said, sure, Ryan, that's wonderful. And then he said, you know, they're going to give you a small amount of time to talk about me. Say something nice. And I said, what kind of time, Ryan? And he said, well, 3 to 5 minutes, Coach. Just keep it short. And I was like, it's going to be hard for me. And then I started to think about that, and I started to think, Ryan, how lucky you are that they gave me this small amount of time, because I could tell a lot of stories, and I was thinking about the strawberry ice cream story, and that's between you and me, or I could tell them about the hamburger diet, the buckets of hamburger. And then I thought a little bit further. I could probably tell them a couple stories about Hawaii. The first one in the elevator that scarred my son for life. I definitely could tell them the locker room story in Hawaii. And maybe if they applaud enough, maybe I'll tell. No, I'm not going to tell that story, Ryan. I'm just teasing. Just teasing. I wanted to see him sweat a little bit, because if I tell the locker room story in Hawaii, that's not going to be good for Ryan today. But then I thought about, wow, how lucky you are. And not lucky to be in the Hall of Fame, because you're very talented and very deserving of the Hall of Fame, but lucky that I don't have a chance to tell those stories. I have two wonderful stories that I'd really like to tell about Ryan. The first one starts with the recruitment of Ryan. You know, in 2006, I said to my coaches, I want to get better at the catching position. That's a very important position to win games. Find me someone that's tough enough. Find me someone that can play the defensive position and handle the pitching staff. Find me someone that can throw runners out. Find me someone that can hit at that position. Find me a leader. Find me somebody that could help this program be great. And the coaches went out and they found this young man, and they sent me here to watch him play. And I came out on a Sunday to watch him play, and I had my stopwatch, and they usually don't let me go out very much because I can't see very well. You know, I bring back some different reports, so they do most of the recruiting. But they sent me out. I had the stopwatch. I went to the city park here, and I watched Ryan play in a Sunday game. And he threw a 175 the first time. And for the baseball people in the room, it was a 175. And I looked at the watch, and I was like, something must be wrong with the watch. I've never had a time this quick. I've never seen a kid with this kind of arm strength. And sure enough, the game started. He threw a 185. He threw a guy out on a 1-9. And I was so excited. I called the coaches, hey, you guys, Ryan just threw a 175. And on the other end of the phone, they were like, yeah, coach, right. Yeah, sure. I was like, no, I'm serious. This kid, he's got a rifle for an arm. And then the opportunity to go into his house, and, you know, Sherry, Doug, Dana, the entire Lipkin group, thank you for, you know, Sherry said to me, Coach, thanks for coming here today for Ryan. And I said, you know, thank you for giving me your greatest possession and giving me an opportunity to coach him, because he was that leader. He was that player that could catch at that position. He was that person that could help our program go to the next level. In 2008, we picked the USA team, and we were sitting in a room with some of the best coaches in the country, and they said, we need a catcher. We need a catcher that can do these things, that can handle our staff. And I said, I got the guy for you, Ryan Lipkin. And they looked at me, and it was one of those moments where I had to put my name on the line, and I said, no, Ryan Lipkin is the guy to do that. He's the guy to help us. Well, Ryan came to the USA team. We went 24-0. We had a 0.98 ERA. We had 11 players off of that team that are major league pitchers still now today. We had 14 players of the 25 that have had a 6+ year career as Major League Baseball players. And Ryan was the leader of that group. So there's a lot of greatness in this room, folks. I hear a lot of great stories. There's a lot of greatness in this room. There's none greater than the Ryan Lipkin that I know, that I put my name on as a coach and as a person. So as you get a little emotional sometimes talking about the greatness of people, you know, thanks to Ryan. Not thanks to Coach for being here, but thanks to Ryan for being who he is, because not only was he a wonderful baseball player, he was a better person. And I really appreciate what he's done. I'm really proud of him. And will you please help me welcome 2017 Hall of Fame, Ryan Lipkin.
Kind of set a big stage for me there, so I hope I don't mess it up. Some people had no notes, Vic. Other people's had a lot of notes. I have odd note. So I have a couple things written down. I apologize, I don't have more written down. I'm now currently a firefighter for the Contra Costa County Fire Department, as you know. I just got hired there and I'm in training, and the season, as a lot of people know, has been busy, so our training has been going a lot longer. But I think one of the cool things about the opportunity to be inducted into the Hall of Fame is it's an opportunity for people to recognize what we did on the field, and people did in the booths and everything else, but for us it's kind of an opportunity to recognize the people that helped us get to where we're at. I get to stand up here and really my speech is just kind of thanking the people that helped get me here. One of the first people, definitely, I actually have to kind of piggyback off of Vic and thank Allison. I was also one of those injured players when I got here. I broke my wrist, and not very long after that, I got hit in the head with a bat and got 6 stitches. And apparently there wasn't concussion protocol at the time because Allie let me play the next day. So yeah, I got to play the next day with 7 stitches in my head. Thank you for that, Allison. The next, I have to thank the people that helped vote and obviously definitely get us here. And also I have to thank Coach Scott Stover, who's not able to be here with us tonight. I was, as my mom said and everyone else has said and Coach G has said, I was recruited out of high school to go to some pretty awesome colleges to play. At the end of one of our playoff games, I went to Vannon High School. At the end of one of our playoff games, Coach Scott Stover came up from Solano College and said, you know, I'd known him for a really long time. I was his bat boy when he was a professional coach, and he said, oh, you're going to go play at Solano, and that ended up being in the newspaper. And my mom, who obviously wanted me to go to a Division I and get an academic education, was like, that's not happening. She wanted me to get a Division I academic scholarship and everything else, and 6 months later I was at Solano. So that says a little bit about what Scott Stover did. He promised me a lot. He told me if I came here and played like I could and got my grades to where they needed to be, get me to a Division I school, anyone of my choice. And I broke my wrist that year, and at the time I had a really good fall. One of the biggest benefits was having Vic, because everyone wanted to come see Vic play. So I got the opportunity to come. If I played well, some people got to see me play. So I had a couple scholarship offers from Long Beach State, Fullerton, Arizona State, 3 schools that I had always seen as being places that I wanted to go. And then I also ended up getting calls from University of San Francisco. I broke my wrist, and I stopped hearing from ASU, and I stopped hearing from Irvine and Long Beach State and ASU. And every week, on the week, I got a call from USF asking me how my wrist was doing, asking me how rehab and progression was, how everything was going. And it showed the testament to who they were, and I chose to go and play there before I even got my arm out of the cast. Turned everyone else down that stopped talking to me. And I think one of the biggest things you need is people that believe in you. Stover believed in me. Nino believed in me. My family believed in me. My friends believed in me, some of them who are here. I want to thank Nino and Brenda. I can't thank you enough. I came to USF at a hard time in my life. My best friend was shot and killed in a drive-by shooting in Vacaville. He's actually an ex-football player here, Angelo Hurst. Nino picked me up from the airport to come to his funeral after, and I hadn't even started playing ball there yet. After my career was over, after my USF career was over, they invited me into their home in the off seasons. I lived with them. Their kids are like a brother and sister to me, and they're like another set of parents. So I thank you for absolutely everything that you've done and kind of making me who I am. Next, I got to thank teammates. One of them is here from my high school, Chris Negron. Saturdays, Sundays, during the year, 6 a.m. on the day, every day. It was him and I in the batting cage, hitting together. And he's still here with me today. He's one of my best friends, and it's a shocker that I made it to AAA and he made it to the big leagues. So congratulations to you. Vic, obviously, absolutely, you're one of the best players to that point in my career that I had ever played with, and you played professionally, so you kind of know that once you get there, there's 16-year-olds that are better than us, and they shock the living hell out of you, sorry. But they do. I'm probably still waiting for a check from his dad for all the balls that he threw to us when he needs shoulder surgery. So he showed up on many Saturdays and Sundays and threw hundreds of balls at both of us. So obviously thanks to both of you for helping me get to where I am. My girlfriend, who's here tonight, I need to thank her. She wasn't there when I played at Solano or in my baseball career, but as supportive as she has been through my firefighting career to this point, I can't imagine how good she would be with that, because it's not an easy thing to say goodbye to the person you love every day and not know if they come home. So I want to thank her for that. And last, my family and my parents. My dad has been a huge influence on my baseball career. He was my coach for, his exact words were, he was my coach for as long as he could coach me until I knew more than him. So he had that conversation at about 3.5 years old and told me he couldn't coach me anymore. Just kidding, he coached me all the way up until high school. He'd always been there for me and followed my career, and I don't know many games that he ever missed. Also my sister and my mom, the sacrifices my family made to go play. We missed a lot of vacations, we missed a lot of days, doing a lot of other stuff that other families got to do because they sacrificed to let me go play. Most of my Christmases, I think, through high school were spent at colleges playing in recruiting trip tournaments and stuff like that, and my mom was there to help send me to them. So I'd have to thank all of you for the sacrifices you made that have allowed me to stand up here today. And thank you to everybody for being here tonight and everything else. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, I think our next inductee wins the prize for most people here tonight. That's Solano Toki. She's got, what, you got 4 tables back there? And I've been working on a little special greeting. Malo ita lava he fia fini. Sorry, that's all the Tongan I know, well, except for the swear words. I get those a lot from my wife. Our next inductee, Solano Toki, played women's basketball here 2004 to 2006. One of the best players we've ever had here at Solano Community College. She was on that 2006 Bay Valley Conference championship team. She was the Bay Valley Conference MVP, and she was All-State that year as well. Went on to Texas, finished her career, got her degree. And Solano, I remember, I had Solano in my public speaking class. And at the end of the semester, this was the spring semester of 2006, right before she left Solano, going to Texas, continue playing basketball there at Kingsville College, if I remember correctly. And I remember Solano, end of the semester, wrote a paper on the benefits of taking a class in public speaking. But Solano, there was one thing you left out of that paper. You didn't talk about one of the benefits being, I better take this class so I can do a good job on my Hall of Fame induction speech. We're going to get to you in a second, but before we do, we're going to bring up a very special guest to tell us more about your great achievements. Let's hear it for, and this was a tough one, I just got it. And Talamontes Restau, come on up.
Okay, so I've been a teacher for over 20 years, and every time students come in and say, I don't have my work because my printer ran out of ink, or I'm like, yeah, right, too bad. And then guess what? Tonight, my speech would not print, so I'm moving into is this the 21st century? Moving into the 21st century, and hopefully my battery stays charged. No, I'm good. Okay, good evening. It is indeed a pleasure and a privilege to induct Solano Toki into the Solano College Hall of Fame and to celebrate her accomplishments. But before we go any further, Solano, I have a question that has bugged me for about 15 years. Hogan High School was playing Vallejo High School at their gym, and I think you were a junior, so it was probably your first year on varsity. And at one point I subbed you out, and you started crying. And I was like, what's wrong? And you just kept crying. And I'm like, are you hurt? And you just kept crying. And I'm like, what's going on? Can I put you back in? And you just kept crying. And I looked at Paula and I said, can you please find out what's going on? Because she's not speaking. And you never stopped crying. So, and that's totally out of character for you because you are such a quiet, gentle leader. So what I want to know now is, what were you crying about? So anyway, I have many, many memories working with Wilana and all of the girls that were her friends at Hogan High School, and then following her career when she came here to Solano, and then following, thank goodness for computers, when she went to Texas, because their media department was really, really good about keeping updates about games and stats and all that kind of stuff. So that was really exciting. When I was deciding what to say about Wilana, one of the recurring themes that kept coming to mind is family. Wilana belongs to an incredible family. The Toki family is huge, and they're very, very close. They're all supportive of each other, and they are wonderful people. Then there's the Hogan High School family that she became a member of when she was a student athlete in our program. Next, we have the Solano College family, where she chose to continue playing basketball and worked hard to improve her game. This is also the reason we are here tonight, to celebrate her. She has family in Texas, where she continued her education and her playing career. I know there are probably many more groups of people who consider Wilana family, because she has touched the lives of many people. Finally, there's her immediate family, Wilana, David, and her 5 daughters. I think that there are quite a few people in this room waiting for them all to come of age so that we can all have a part in coaching them at some level. Family and family values are what I think of when I think of Wilana. Wilana's accomplishments at Solano College include, and there's much more details in your program, but to hit them quickly, being named a Bay Valley Conference All-Conference selection in 2005 and 2006. In 2006, she was also named the conference MVP. She was a first-team All-State selection that year. Wilana was a WBCA Honorable Mention Kodak All-American in both 2005 and 2006. Her stats stand the test of time, as she holds the 6th place in program history for career points, 935, and 10th place for career rebounds at 530. Wilana has tied the record for free throw percentage in a single game. She was 8 for 8. Her career average was 14.3 points per game and 8.4 rebounds. Other special recognition that Wilana gathered during her career here at Solano was being named a team captain, being named an all-tournament selection of the 2005 Solano Showdown, and being recognized as the Women's Basketball Co-Player of the Year in 2006. There are parts of her highlight film that are still a part of our program today that Coach Matt uses when he wants to motivate the girls before a big game like Contra Costa. Wilana, I have enjoyed watching you grow into the incredible woman and mother you are today. I enjoyed coaching you at Hogan and following your career here as well as in Texas. You are definitely a part of so many of my top 10 moments in coaching. I am so proud to have you as a part of my family. Congratulations to you on this honor, And thank you for asking me to be a part of it. Well, Anna, come on up here.
I can't really remember why I was crying, but the only thing I can really think about is probably because you took me out the game.
Or we were losing, and that was frustrating.
I'm just very grateful for this opportunity to be here and be part of the 2017 Hall of Fame class. I see a lot of people that I haven't seen in so long. Sorry. I told myself I wasn't going to do this. Everybody at Solano has helped me. Sorry, you guys. Has helped me move on from here with the 2 years, 3 years that I have left. When I left in '06, I spent another 2 to 3 years when I was in Texas. I ended up staying an extra year because I changed my major from business admin to criminology. When Claire had called me, I was on my way to work, and it was very unexpected. I didn't know who she was, because when I left here, I don't remember who it was, but Claire wasn't the athletic director. And she's like, so I just want to congratulate you and let you know you're going to be a part of 2017 class. When she said 2017 class, I'm like, class of what? Like, you know? And I'm just grateful. I'm very happy, nervous, but I'm more excited. I see a lot of the men's basketball team that are here that played during the 2 years I played. I'd like to first thank, I'm going to start with high school because my high school coaches are here, and Ann, she teaches here now. My JV coach, Coach Paula Barrett in the back, she, oh my gosh. She made us run up these hills, Ascot Parkway in Vallejo. I'll never forget those hills. Conditioning, running up those hills. She helped out a lot and with my career too, always keeping in touch with me when she can. I know her whole little family. Coach T, she knows all my siblings, from the bad ones to the good ones. She knows she's a huge part of my family too. She knows everything about my family, the oldest to the youngest, and there's 7 of us, and I'm the 5th one. Thanks, Coach T and Paula. You guys helped out a lot. I didn't do this by myself. You guys all helped me. To the Solano coaching staff, you guys have helped out way more than you guys could have. I remember, I'm trying to remember, it's been 10 years and I have 5 kids now, so when you pass that schooling stage and you have your own little family, you don't think of anything but caring and taking care of your family, especially your kids and stuff like that. Every time someone interviews me, I'm like, dude, I got to think back more than 10 years ago. I can't really think about what it is I actually did accomplish here. Coach Matt had played a big role in me making a decision to come here. It was between him and Contra Costa. The reason I picked Coach Matt is because he came to my house. He actually came to my house, met my family, and Contra Costa didn't. I thought about the whole having to cross the bridge and stuff like that. I wanted to make it easier for my parents. So I'm so happy I did come here because I learned so much about how to be a basketball player. Everything about basketball I learned here and with Coach T and Paula in high school. I like to also thank Coach George. He calls me all the time, and if you know Coach George, he likes to talk. And my first question to Coach George every time he calls me is, "Are you married yet?" And up to today, he still isn't married, but I'm still looking for an aunt for you, Coach George. It's okay. anyways, I'm excited. I'm happy that I get to share this moment with people that I really love and cherish. Everyone, yeah, I remember Allison too, in the training department. You're still here. That's so cool to see you and Sam and Betty. I remember all of you guys, and I ran into Coach Nagel, and his son is beyond. When I was playing here, Coach Nagel's son was like this, and now he's very tall. It's so good to see a lot of new faces and old faces. I'm so happy to be inducted with Kate Shipp. She's such a good person on and off the court. She was actually, her and Marion Murphy, Candace Bersola were all good examples to us when it came to the class. And that's another thing about the Solano women's basketball team and just the program itself is that it's not just about basketball, it's also about the classroom. Also, Greg, I didn't know his wife was Tongan. I remember, and I took his class because I needed his class to transfer. And knowing me, I'm not a good debater, and I don't speak good in front of people. And I remember I wasn't doing well in his class. And I remember his wife came up and she told me, she's like, hey, malolele, and that means, hi, how are you in my language? And I looked at her and I'm like, oh my God, there's somebody that speaks my language at the school. And she goes on to tell me, and then she tells me she's Greg's wife. Greg was a debate teacher back, he probably still is when I need that class. And so I wasn't doing well before I transferred in his class, and I said, I went to knock at his door, I said, Greg, I know I'm not doing well in your class, and I need your class to transfer. And he tells me to go write the paper, and he ended up giving me a B in his class. So thank you, Greg. You're a part of this accomplishment, too. I'd also like to thank just the staffing, also the parents during the 2004-2006 season. They were like of really good support to us and our team. The 2 years that I was here playing, those 2 years are, I would say that Coach, I think we had it the toughest from Coach Matt. Every time I come and I hear about his teams now, it's kind of like he went soft on them. But I remember when it was us, oh my gosh, we could not get away with anything. So you couldn't, if you missed class, if you were late to class, oh, he was going to find out. But yeah, and also Coach Matt's wife, Angela, so good to see her. She came through the checkpoint a couple months ago, and I seen her, oh my gosh, it brought so much memories back to when I played here 2 years ago. I always see her posting their kids' pictures on Facebook and stuff like that. And I'm never going to forget the 2 years that I got to play here, because really a lot of people just probably thought I was just that good, but it wasn't just because of me. It was because everyone helped me become who I was and who I am today up here. Yeah. All the awards and the recognitions and stuff, it wasn't because of me, it's because I could do it. It's because my teammates, they believed in me, and they believed that I could be the go-to person for our team at certain points, certain times in the game. And I just want to mention about the Contra Costa game. Oh my gosh, one of the most nerve-wracking games, because I want to say we were down probably throughout most of the game. And that last play, from what I remember, I don't think it was for me. I thought it was for Marion Murphy. She's a shooting guard, and everyone knows Marion Murphy. She shoots from anywhere on the court. I want to say I was probably halfway in between the three-point line and the half-court line, and Kate threw me the ball, and I looked at the clock. I looked at Marion. She was all the way on the other side, and I took it upon myself again to shoot the ball, and then it went in, and that was it. I also like to thank my family. They've been very supportive ever since they knew I grew to love the game of basketball, and for my parents too. I think when someone leaves off to college that they need to have very supportive parents, and I did, and I think that's truly why I became successful. Anything I needed, anything I wanted, they gave it to me. Out of the 7 kids, out of my 7 brothers and sisters, there was only 3 of us that graduated high school, and I was the only one to graduate college. And I'm glad that I could be able to take one for the team, and be again, and be of a good example to all my nieces and nephews. Now they come up to me, they're like, "Oh, when are you gonna teach us and play with us and this and that?" But me, like, my time is very precious right now because I have my starting 5 that I'm working with right now, and my family and my friends, they all know how I am. Like, if it isn't about my kids, then it isn't about nothing. Other than that, I just like to thank you guys all. I'm very happy to be here and to see everybody. A lot of times we try to get together, but everyone's always busy. So it's good to be part of this class and having to share with Reggie and Kate Ship, who I played with. And again, thank you guys all. Love everyone here, and thank you.
One of the traditions we have for Solano women's basketball is that when our players are inducted into the Hall of Fame, we make a presentation of their jersey to them. So, Alana, this is yours. Thanks. You're welcome. There you are.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry that I stood up here for you.
Okay.
Okay. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yay.
Oh, wait.
What a person does with their life after they leave here is a hell of a lot more important than the letter we write down on a sheet of paper. So proud of Alana. Went on, got her degree, criminology. And now we're just going to keep this theme of women's basketball going. Look how happy Matt is. He had 2 in last year, right? And 2 in again this year. Pretty good job. And our next inductee, Kate Ship, going into the Hall of Fame tonight. Congratulations. As Wilana mentioned, Kate was a teammate of Wilana on that 2006 Bay Valley Conference Championship team. Also, Kate Ship, 2-time All-Conference player, 2-time Player of the Year, and also with Kate Ship Roberts, academic All-American. Not too shabby. Nice job, Kate Ship Roberts. And to tell you a little bit more about Kate Ship Roberts and all her accomplishments, let's welcome head coach of the women's basketball team, Matt Borchert.
Good evening, everybody. So, it didn't take me long to know that we would sit here tonight and induct Kate into the Hall of Fame. As the legend goes, in the spring of 2004, I was recruiting this little blonde guard out of Napa High School. And she was pretty good. She was actually real good, and it was a big recruit for us. And as you know, Tyron mentioned earlier about Ryan and Vic, and Kate was similar to that, as was Wilana. And so everything went well. We were all set, and she decided to come to Solano, and everyone's ecstatic. And then shortly thereafter, a dear family friend of hers, who was pretty much like a second father figure to her, was going to be accepting the job, the women's basketball position at the College of Marin. And Kate called me and said, "Coach, I've decided that, because of Coach Smith, that I'm going to attend College of Marin." And this was at a time where my kids were not born yet. And so, hung up the phone. I told Clay, I understand, and good luck to you, etc. And we hung up the phone. And as my wife will attest, I went into full depression mode. And I don't think I ate or slept or got off the couch or showered, probably for at least 48 hours. And only because Monday came around and I actually had to suck it up and get back to work, did I, kind of come to. And it was a rough time. And so that explains to you that I knew that this night would happen. And fortunately enough, it was sometime later, we'll call it a few weeks, it was probably a little bit more. Her dad called me and said, Coach, things kind of fell through at Marin, and do you still have room for, this little blonde girl to run around? I said, yeah, definitely, I think so. And so that is kind of where the whole legend of Kate Ship began. And then we went to a preseason jamboree in Ventura, and we played a few games in Ventura as a preseason little deal. And the assistant coach from Ventura came up and said, you guys are going to be pretty good this year. I said, yeah, I think our team's pretty good. She goes, I really, really like number 3. No one has number 3. Like, I wish we had number 3. Number 3, of course, being Kate. And so that gives you another example why we're here tonight. And as we prepared for this evening, Kate talked to me and she said, Coach, I don't understand why you nominated me. My stats are they're terrible. This is embarrassing. And it wasn't about big stats with Kate. Kate was the incredible, intangible player that did everything. And it wasn't high volume numbers like you just heard about with Solano, but Kate did it all. And even though it was a smaller number, it was in every single category. Kate guarded the other team's best player on the perimeter. Kate was our captain, our leader, glue to the team. She was the best communicator. She was a great student, as Greg just mentioned. Our player of the year, Greg mentioned she was our 2-time player of the year. That's a Solano Women's Basketball Award, the only award that we give at our banquet. And it is for the player. It's voted on by the players. Coaches have nothing to do with it. So it's, who has the best enthusiasm, who has the best attitude, who's the best, the most coachable player, who does something productive on the floor. There's several criteria. And Kate is the only 2-time winner of the award that, her teammates voted her player of the year. She was the Solano Showdown MVP, Academic Bay Valley All-Conference. So, and bottom line was, when Kate wasn't on the floor, things started to, kind of go the bad way, you looked and it was like, oh, well, obviously, Kate's not on the floor. We got to get her back in. John mentioned, the late Carl Everett, and how much Carl taught John. That would be one of the things that Carl would probably lean over and tell John, right? If the game started to go bad and I sent Kate to the scoring table, Carl probably, leaned over and said, hey, John, note that Kate's going back in. We're going to be okay now. And that's why Kate is a Hall of Famer beyond all the numbers. If I may, I wanted to take also the opportunity to thank both Solano and Kate for making me a better coach. And when I took over in 2001 for the great Kim Gervasoni, and Janae, I was telling Allison earlier that I wish I could have been in that hallway when you and Kim were here together. That was probably fascinating. And I haven't been able to have a full conversation with you, but Kim and I know, and so you know what I'm talking about. But when I got here, obviously I had big shoes to fill. And, we did okay. We did fine. In fact, my first year, we were ranked number 1 in the state. But it wasn't until the spring of 2004 and and then when we started the fall of 2004, Kate and Solano what they did, that team, they led that team, is really, settled me in, and I was able to really feel that I belonged, here at Solano, and it was my team, it was my program, et cetera. And so I want to thank both Wilana and Kate for that, for making me better. And Wilana was just talking about the Contra Costa game, what a huge recruiting battle that was with Contra Costa, and then to ironically have such a big game their sophomore year against Contra Costa that was going to decide, the Bay Valley Conference title. And Wilana gave you a little preview, but it was 54-54. We had come back. We were down most of the game, and we had come back, and we had tied it up, and it was our ball out of a timeout with, roughly, I think, 3 seconds to go in the game. And Wilana mentioned we set up this play, and as legend is too, Kate will tell you that in the timeout, I drew the play up on the wrong side of the court. So I thought we were going to get the ball on the bench's side, and then we come out of the timeout, and the referees actually gave us the ball on the stand, the bleacher side of the court. And so we run this play, and it was incredible. Coach Nagel will attest, right, Coach? We were there. We were there. It was awesome. Yeah. And Wilana's dad was running across the gym, hugging everybody in sight. Looked like Jim Valvano after North Carolina State won the national championship, and it was incredible. So, at any rate, to tie Wilana and Kate together again, thank you for an incredible 2 years. And then Kate specifically, it's been quite a journey, Kate, quite a journey. From that recruiting story to you coming back to Solano, to winning a conference championship with you, to handing you the plaque to be the Solano Showdown Most Valuable Player, to graduation. I remember your group graduation. We fixed graduation, and all of you went in the back, and then I presented you your diploma that year. That was awesome. To watching you play at Azusa Pacific, to watch you become one of the best three-point shooters in the Golden State Athletic Conference, to seeing you go on to Alabama and get your master's and follow in my footsteps, your parents' footsteps especially, to be a part of your great family, to talk to you on the phone shortly after you held onto your toilet for dear life in Alabama when the tornadoes hit. It's been a special time. But none more special than a year ago, roughly a year ago, when you got married to your wonderful husband, Chris, and my daughter, who you found out we were pregnant with when you were a freshman in 2004. And to be at your wedding, to have my daughter, who was in 11 at the time, carry your ring, be the ring bearer at your wedding, just really finish off that journey. And then tonight, to have the honor and present you with our tradition, as Coach Ann just said, with your jersey, and welcome you into the Solano College Athletic Hall of Fame. It's tremendous. So, ladies and gentlemen, Kate Shipp, Women's Basketball Hall of Fame.
Solana, I should have copied you and wore the fake eyelashes. Whew. I want to start off before I get to my speech. Thank you, Coach Portrait, for talking on my behalf. I appreciate that more than you know. To all the familiar faces out here, who again, like Lana said, I haven't seen in 10 years. It's just like yesterday. It's great to see everyone. From the announcer, Sam, Betty, Reggie. If you didn't know it then, about half of the girls' basketball team had a crush on you.
So now you know. Vic, I got to watch you hit bombs, and you were fun to watch. And Solano, to be able to go in with my Tongan sister is just a dream. A quick story about Solano. It was early freshman year. We were playing at home. Lana was cutting. She was wide open. I had the ball at the wing. And like an idiot, I didn't pass her the ball. And she let me know it on the way back down to play defense. So when we went back down on offense again, she was open, and I passed her the ball. Of course, the ball went in. So I quickly realized if I pass the ball to Lana, Lana's not going to miss. Lana scores, I get an assist. This is going to be a start of a beautiful friendship, Lana, so thank you. Thank you to the Athletic Hall of Fame for inducting me. This is quite an honor, like I said, and thank you for having this ceremony this weekend and not the weekend before or next weekend, because Alabama has a really big football game, so thank you for doing it on their bye weekend. I want to thank my husband, Chris. We've been married for just over a year. And even before we were married, Chris would come to Solano basketball games with me. And every time he would come, I would tell him some story that I'm sure he had heard before, whether it was, running the mile over there and coach yelling out the window, hurry up, go faster, or about the time Murph and I hid in the bushes and watched everyone run past. But thank you for coming and supporting me at this time. I want to thank my brother Andrew. He's not here right now. He actually works in Houston for the Astros, so that's taking priority today. And I want to thank my parents, Mary and Dave, who are also PE teachers and coaches. And they actually came back from Houston this morning, and I'm sorry that you had to miss the game today, but thank you for being here. I want to thank my assistant coaches, Christine Little, George Molina, and Nadine Walker. And of course, the mastermind behind all of this madness, Coach Matt Borchard. I would not be here without you, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart, so thank you. For as long as I can remember, I wanted to play basketball in college. Ultimately, it was between Stanford or Tennessee, whoever came knocking first. But there are a few things that stood in the way, like a 4.0, about 6 inches, and the fact that Pat Summitt scared the heck out of me. So I realized it was time to go to Plan B. Throughout high school, junior colleges weren't really talked about. Much of the conversation involved UC Ready or four-year colleges. So naturally, I was going to go to a four-year college, play basketball, and learn how to surf in the process. I thought I was better than a junior college, both athletically and academically. And like Coach Matt said, after a few twists and turns, I ended up right where I was supposed to be, and that was here. And I will say, calling you was probably the hardest thing I ever had to do. It was certainly the most humbling, but it was the best thing I've ever done. So thank you for taking that phone call. It was the Solano community, the teachers, players, staff, my teammates, Coach Borchard, that helped me widen my view of what basketball in junior college was all about. Solano was about working harder than you ever thought possible, logging in hours at the gym because someone was actually faster than you and could shoot better than you could. Solano was trying Spam and eggs for the first time and realizing, why did it take you 19 years to try Spam and eggs for the first time? I had to throw in a food one there, I'm sorry. Solano was about getting different groups of young women from all different walks of life together who had one common goal, and that was to earn a basketball scholarship. While at Solano, part of Coach Borchard's philosophy was together. And whether we knew it or not, that was going to be the key to our success on and off the court. We would attend class together, except for that one time where Neek and P made me sneak out of Mikologic's music class. Sorry. Wearing our blue travel gear, or as our manager Renya liked to call us, the blueberries. We'd go to Chevy's after practice and only order beans and rice because we weren't going to pay for a taco or burrito.
and it was singing a certain Boys to Men song as loud as we could when we found out that Coach and Angela were pregnant with their first child in the hotel parking lot down in Mount Sac. And then we stopped and thought about it. How did they get pregnant? And we didn't sing that song anymore. I really am sorry about all that too. And just like that, I had 11 new sisters. Solano has and always will be family. Before the babies, before the weddings, before the college graduations, Solano was spending the day after Christmas in the gym while everyone else was off skiing or vacationing. Solano was knowing if your mom or dad couldn't make it to the game, your Filipino mom and dad would be cheering just as loud for you in the stands and probably bringing you food after. Solano is coming back year after year to watch and support the basketball team and being able to hug and reconnect with teammates and former players who share the same love for a place they once called their second home. When people ask me about my time at Solano, the answer is always the same. Aside from marrying my husband, it was the best decision I've ever made in my life. Between 2006 to now, everything that has come my way has been a direct influence because of Solano College. I truly believe, had I gone to the four-year college, played basketball, learned how to surf, I wouldn't have been given the opportunities that I have now. So thank you, Solano, for those opportunities. So as far as any high school senior who thinks that junior colleges can't and won't offer them anything, you're wrong. Solano offered my teammates the opportunity to be a doctor, a lawyer, a TSA agent, a teacher who's working on her PhD, and a civilian worker in the Army. It offered them an opportunity to be part of a championship team and hang a banner in the gym that'll last forever. In closing, I want to say thank you with my whole heart to everyone here and to everyone who is a part of Solano Community College. I want to thank Coach Borchard for allowing me to chase my dream and for staying a key fixture in my life for the past 10 years. I guess I owe you lemon bars for life. Thank you.
Hey, at this time, could I have all of the Solano coaches, assistant coaches, go ahead and stand up for us, please. Let's give these folks a round of applause. We have some outstanding coaches here at Solano Community College. And I'll tell you what, I think coaching on the community college level is by far the most challenging coaching assignment. You have kids for 2 years if you're lucky, and then the attrition is so much higher. You have to constantly recruit and recruit and recruit. And then you have a star player, and next thing you know, he gets a job that he thinks is going to be more important, and then that kid is gone. So our coaches do an outstanding job producing outstanding teams, and more importantly, we're seeing the kind of impact they're having on the lives of their players. Outstanding job here at Solano Community College. And one of those coaches has had a tremendous impact on our next inductee. Our next inductee from the men's basketball team played here in 2003, 2004. Let's hear it for Reggie Vize. Reggie was one of the most exciting players to watch. He was an outstanding point guard. He was great with the ball, and he was a tenacious defender. He was all-conference in 2004, and then went on to the University of Pacific, continued playing, and Reggie got his degree in communication. I knew that'd be good for you. I had Reggie in the classroom. He was an outstanding speaker and outstanding student athlete. He's the kind of kid you just want to make a mold and say, okay, here's the mold for the perfect student athlete. And to tell you more about Reggie, let's get both his high school coach at Will C. Wood and his coach here at Solano Community College. Let's hear it for the men's basketball coach and one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, Coach John Nagel.
Let's bring it home, baby. 3 minutes. Yeah. Hey, ironic, before I ever presented, I used to be the timekeeper. So I used to keep everybody and do this. And now I just got told 2 or 3 minutes. Woo! I'm in season, so I'm in coaching voice. So if I'm a little loud, you'll be all right, man. We're going to, a few minutes and we'll be out of here. The mixed blessing tonight, because this is my first time inducting a player since I've been the head coach since 2003, and there's no better than Reg Vise. So I'm honored by that, but it also means that I finally have become one of the old coaches that induct players. In 2003, I was young and hip. I'm not going to say swag, but I was younger, and now I'm an old coach inducting athletes. So it's a first for me. With Reg, there's been many firsts. I had the honor to coach Reg at high school. I coached at Will C. Wood High School prior to being afforded the opportunity to coach at Solano Community College. And Reg played 1 year of organized basketball at Will C. Wood. Because of family values and decisions, he wasn't playing organized sports, so I had a chance to play. Reg had a chance to play for me his senior year, and he did pretty well. He averaged 18 points a game and was first team all-conference at Will C. Wood. I got the job at Wood, then another first came with Reg. Reggie became my very first recruit. I called Reg the day I got the job and informed him he would be attending Solano Community College. That was a while ago, and Reg works for Apple, so I think I called him on a dumb phone. It's a smartphone now, but I think I got him on a dumb phone when I called him. But Reg became my very first recruit at Solano Community College, which was amazing. And with Reg, I brought many of his teammates, Neek and P, and had the opportunity to get with Jeff when Jeff was with the program when I inherited it. Led the way to outstanding players like Joe J, who's with Reg tonight. But Reggie epitomized and embodied everything that I stood for and what I wanted to be in the program. On the court, second to none. Phenomenal, and I'll give you some of the stats because I'm not good with numbers. Those are measurable, but what was unmeasurable was what he was able to help me establish. And literally today, it's what we stand for. So him and Neek and P and Chad, the players that I brought from Will C. Wood, established foundation that we, of integrity, character, being men on and off the court, that we hold to this day. So Reg was my first recruit. He was my first unanimous all-conference player. He was my first Division I recruit who went on to play at the University of Pacific. I don't know if you follow sports, but making Division I in any sport is tremendously hard, and it's only for the gifted academically and athletically. Also, when he was at UOP, he was my first player to win a conference championship. He was my first player to play in the NCAA tournament. So Reg was one of my many, many, many firsts. So that was amazing. Also was my son's first coach at Mini Muscles in Vacaville. Again, just a testament to his character. We do tons of community service, and Reg's always cared about making the world a better place. That's on our campus and outside the campus. Not the best choice, but him and P and Chad were my son's first babysitter. My wife and I still... There's some stories behind that. We're trying to shut it down, so we're not going to tell those stories, but all the other choices, Reg was an amazing first. Here at Solano freshman year, he averaged almost 16.5 points. He shot 44% from the three-point line. He was second team all-conference as a freshman. As a sophomore year, he averaged close to 18 points for the season, 19 points during the season. During league, he was the second leading scorer in our conference. He was first team all-conference, and then UOP fell in love with him, which was easy to do. Junior year at UOP, he was a main contributor, and as I mentioned, he went on to win a conference championship and had the opportunity to play in March Madness. They lost a tough overtime game to Boston College, but it was amazing to watch him on that level. And then the senior year, he was one of the starters, main guys. consistently led the team in scoring and rebounding, was second team all conference in the Big West, and also was the conference's leading three-point shooter while he was there. So that's what's measurable about Reg. But what's immeasurable is off the court, his character. And I wish I had the POF verbiage, and I wish I could speak and have superlatives, encompass, and embrace Reg for who he is, but I just can't. Because I don't know how you measure honor and nobility and courage and all those kinds of things. Like, it's immeasurable to me. But that's who Reg is to me. That's what he embodies. There's no better first-time inductee for men's basketball under my watch than Reg Vizet. So being a teammate was super important to Reg, and you can tell by, even though sometimes it looked like this was a bachelor party with his teammates, it wasn't. They knew it was a Hall of Fame induction. But he was, he counted as a teammate. He makes people around him better, and he fits perfectly with this class. And again, just with this class, I'd like to just briefly note that I had the opportunity to bear witness to all of your experiences here. Everyone that was inducted today, I saw you shine, and I saw you at your best, and I saw you making our corner of the world, which is Solano College, just that much better. So thank you to all of you who are inducted tonight on being amazing, and I feel blessed to have watched you and witnessed you and your greatness. And you all look great from here, by the way. I don't know if you've seen this, but you do look amazing. But Reg epitomizes everything that's right with student athletes. He's so humble, he's so hardworking, ferocious as an athlete. What Mr. Poff said about him as a player, his toughness, his skill, unquestionable. But he's even more of an admirable and honorable father to his beautiful wife, Natalie, and his son and his daughter, Cash and Hazel. To watch him as a dad is impeccable. Again, no more superlatives. I couldn't say how much Reg means to me and what he meant to the program here. So I want to invite him and induct him. And this is my first time, but Reg, I want you to know. I know I look big and dumb, but I'm not dumb enough to steal a great tradition like the women's basketball program. So, without further ado, please, as we bring him home, induct Reg 2017 Hall of Fame. Let's go, Reg! Woo! I was under 5 minutes. I'm getting a medal tonight too. Reg Vizet, I love you.
All right, I didn't know how this was gonna go, but for all my teammates, I did bring my shorts and my shoes in case you wanna play when we leave here. No, it's fine. Where to start? First, can we get a round of applause for everyone who put this event together? Like, this is a great event. When the athletic director Eric called me, I just thought it was somebody who was like a telemarketer at first, and I was like, you guys are getting creative nowadays, right? No, but it was a fantastic call. I was really shocked and humbled and honored because there's no better experience, right? If you think about Solano Community College, the word in the middle stands out the most, the community. And that's what I think all 7 of us, or 8 of us, including myself, embody, is the community that Solano, they offer to student athletes. So, fantastic experience. Now, about myself. I had a really short time to do what I had to do. With that meaning, I mean, I had about 4 or 5 years for competitive, organized sports. And so for me to be given this honor in a 2-year time period with everyone else is a really big thing for me. It's pretty awesome. And I couldn't thank this man enough right here. I mean, can we give John a hand of applause, please? Even though he sat me during practices, during games, he really embodied what it took to be a better person before a better athlete. And I picked up a lot from him in that time that I was able to play for him in the 3 years. I was a young knucklehead, and he welcomed me with open arms, but at the same time, he also understood, he saw the competitive drive that I did have, and he really reached into that and tapped into that and helped mold me into the person that I am today. So thank you, Coach, for that. Thank you, definitely. I did have a few brief bullet points. I wanted to not only thank Coach Nagel, Coach Matt Boycher in the back, thank you as well. We would always come in right after you guys practice, and I always remember the last 10 minutes of your practice because you were yelling at somebody. but I took that, and I really, me being a competitive person, I fed into that. That's something that drove me, is being a competitive person. So thank you very much, Coach. I enjoyed watching your practices and you yelling at Willana and Kate and telling them they're not in the right position. That was good stuff. Also, my teammates, I grew up with you guys. Chad, Joe J, Neek, P, Jeff, who are all here tonight. We readed what it took to be a gym rat. We loved being in the gym. We loved hooping. We loved everything about the game of basketball. And that's what, you know, in college, you don't get paid for it. That's what you want to do. That's what you strive to do. And that's what we all try to do on a daily basis. So that's why I made the little joke at the beginning, because they think I'm playing, but I'm not really playing. I'm giving buckets right now. Also, too, my time that I spent here, we became a family. And that's another thing that Solano does a really good job at, is making it a very close-knit family. That's why I wore my blue today. I see a lot of people out there wearing the blue today. Is Solano, when you're here, you're part of the family, and you really strive to do what you can to be a better person. And my biggest thing in life is really I think I told the people that were, when I first came in here, they were like, you got to come in here and do an interview. And I was like, ooh, okay. And the first question they asked me was like, what did you learn from being here at Solano? And I think I told them, probably what I'm going to say now is that your desire to succeed has to be greater than your desire to fail. And if you have that embodied in you, you'll always be successful. No matter what anyone says to you, the doubters, whatever, you're always going to succeed if you have that desire. And I think that's what all the other 7 people here with me have, is they have that desire to be great and to proceed and succeed in life. So I really just want to say thank you to everyone. I can go on and on about the experiences. Jay Nagel, when I taught Jay Nagel, he was about 8 years old and about this tall. Now he's about 6'8", still growing. Just got his first D1 scholarship. So Jay, keep grinding, stay humble, and keep doing what you're doing, man, and great things will come your way too, man, definitely. So thank you, everybody, for tonight. I'm really appreciative. I love this family. I've always represented this family, and I'll continue to do so. So thank you, guys.
Can we have all 8 inductees stand up for us, please? Let's recognize them one last time with a big round of applause. Congratulations to all of you. Class of 2017, Hall of Fame, Solano Community College. We sure hope you've enjoyed tonight's ceremony. Just a couple quick announcements. Just about some great athletic events coming up here at Solano. We just heard from Coach Nagel. Men's basketball team will be hosting a tournament in the middle of November. Coach Borchert and the Solano Showdown, that'll be in December. And our volleyball team, Coach Darla Williams, they are tearing up the Bay Valley Conference right now. They are 11-0 in conference play. But they have not dropped a set. They have won 33 sets in a row. And big event coming up for Solano Community College. We are hosting the California Community College State Women's Volleyball Championship Tournament. So we'll have the 4 top teams in the state, And I don't know, but it would sure be sweet if we could get the Lady Falcons in that tournament that we're hosting here. We'll certainly find out. We'd love to see all of you there supporting the Falcons, supporting the college at all of these upcoming sporting events. This has been a great evening tonight, hearing from the inductees and just the tremendous impact that they're having as a result of their involvement in Solano Community College athletics. Let's keep making a difference, folks, changing the lives of young people so they can go out in the world and make a difference. Good night now. Let's get all the inductees into the room for a picture.
The exponential growth from the program from my first year to my third year now, that's what keeps me coming back and keeps me excited and just like fulfills me as a person.
I've been taking classes here for years now, so I've never actually had a class that I enjoyed quite like this one.
You know, I think it teaches you a lot about, it's confidence building to me.
It's so impressive, and we every time we walk in here, you guys are doing something different. It's great. It's great.
Nothing but opportunities here, and we have sports to cover, we have the equipment.
Because the more ambitious you are, the more opportunities you'll have. And POF with this program lets you be as ambitious as you want and lets you express yourself the way a teacher should let you.
So, like I said, it's really gratifying to us to be able to help in a way where we can see immediate results. And I think the sky's the limit, really, with what we can do here.
Get the hands-on experience.
I mean, on-the-job training is huge.
Yeah.
It's huge in this industry.
Joining the class was the best decision I ever made.
And cut three, hold the shots, stand by, we're gonna go to cut one.